In this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of Amazon Simple Workflow Service, or SWF. Amazon Simple Workflow Service makes it easy to build applications that coordinate work across distributed components. In Amazon Simple Workflow Service, a task represents a logical unit of work that is performed by a component of your application. Coordinating tasks across the application involves managing inter-task dependencies, scheduling, and concurrency in accordance with the logical flow of the application. Simple Workflow Service gives you full control over implementing tasks and coordinating them without worrying about underlying complexities such as tracking their progress and maintaining their state. When using Simple Workflow Service, you implement workers to perform tasks. These workers can run either on cloud infrastructure, such as Amazon EC2, or on your own premises. You can create tasks that are long-running, or that may fail, time out, or require restarts, or that may complete with varying throughput and latency. Simple Workflow Service stores tasks and assigns them to workers when they are ready, tracks their progress, and maintains their state, including details on their completion. To coordinate tasks, you write a program that gets the latest state of each task from Amazon Simple Workflow Service and uses it to initiate subsequent tasks. Simple Workflow Service maintains an application's execution state durably so that the application is resilient to failures in individual components. With Simple Workflow Service, you can implement, deploy, scale, and modify these application components independently. The service offers capabilities to support a variety of application requirements. It's suitable for a range of use cases that require coordination of tasks, including media processing, web application backends, business process workflows, and analytics pipelines. With that, let's run through the sample walkthrough that AWS provides on your Simple Workflow Service dashboard. I got there, as always, by clicking on Services, and then finding Simple Workflow Service. With that said, let's click the Launch Sample Walkthrough button. And just like the introduction says, the walkthrough is going to take us through creating a domain, registering a workflow and activity types, deploying code for workflow orchestration logic and activities, running an execution, and viewing the execution in the AWS Management Console. What it builds is an image processing application that downloads an image from Amazon's public S3 bucket and then provides a transformation to the image. Each time we run the sample workflow, we'll be able to choose one of two transforms, grayscale or sepia conversion on the image. So let's click the Get Started button to get started. The first thing it wants us to do is enter a name for the domain. And we'll hit Continue. Now we'll need to register the workflow and its activities. And remember that activities are individual components of a Simple Workflow Service workflow. So downloading the image, transforming it to either grayscale or sepia, and uploading are all activities that need to be registered with the sample workflow. So let's get started by clicking Continue. The next step is asking us if we want to allow Amazon to deploy an EC2 micro instance for us. Now, EC2 micro instances are part of the free tier, so I'm going to allow it to do this. I'm also going to choose one of my key pairs, and then I'm going to acknowledge that I may be charged for this EC2 depending on how far along I am in my free tier and how many resources I've already used. And next, I'll hit Continue. Now, the workflow and workers are being deployed. This is going to take just a moment, so I'm going to place this video on a brief pause. And there we go. It's been a few minutes, but our deciders and workers have been deployed. So let's continue with the walkthrough. Now, here it's asking us if, as part of the workflow, we'd like AWS to upload the finished image to one of our S3 buckets. Let's go ahead and let it do that. And then, for the transformation, it really doesn't matter, so I'll leave it on sepia, and I'll choose a sample workflow execution ID, and try to run the execution. And that's all there is to it for the example walkthrough of Simple Workflow Service. It looks like our execution has been kicked off successfully, so let's see what it looks like in the console. We'll find the execution by clicking on Workflow Executions on the left side of the page, and there it is. We see our workflow execution ID of 1234, and then an execution status of active, meaning it's currently running. If we click on the execution ID, we can view events and activities for the workflow execution. We can also check out the kind of activities that the solution deployed for us, including downloading from the public S3, performing the transform, uploading it, and so on. And then finally, if we go to the EC2 dashboard, we can see the instance that the solution deployed for us. And that'll wrap it up for our very quick introduction to Simple Workflow Service. So if all of that makes sense, then feel free to move on.